All right. So again, welcome everyone to our Workforce Go Partner Training Session 3. Happy Thursday to everyone aligned with that. And again, thank you for all of your time today. What we're going to be reviewing today is building upon our discussion from our last training session earlier this week and kind of going through again those essential opportunity steps that we need to make sure we touch base with on every Workforce Go HCM opportunity. So in our last discussion, we talked about the lead qualification, the discovery, the needs requirements, and a standard approach to doing that. Again, keeping in mind that we want you to customize that. We want you to tailor that to your conversation, your dialogue, and that's a little bit different for every opportunity that you're going to engage with. Today, specifically, though, during our time, we're going to focus more on the solution, quote, and proposal, more specifically the pricing behind Workforce Go HCM. And just as a reminder for everyone, if you could mute your lines if you're not speaking there.
I'll let you know if I remember why.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, just give me a call back, Jeff. And I'll.
All right, perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and mute all real quick there to avoid some background noise. So to continue on with our discussions there, talking a little bit about pricing for Workforce Go HCM, there are a couple key features that are required and I want to talk about before we jump into the pricing itself. So a couple key pieces of information that you're going to need with every opportunity or understand from a positioning perspective for every Workforce Go HCM opportunity that you engage with. First and foremost with this is we're going to need to know absolutely for every opportunity the number of federal employer identification numbers that we're engaging with. So you are going to engage with opportunities where they're not one single company with all of their employees under one single organization. They may have different segments, different services, different offerings that they have, and a different volume of companies within that. So we do need to understand the volume of federal employer identification numbers that we're working with under that opportunity. And in line with that, the number of employees within each one of those companies as well. So because we may have a 500 employee opportunity or a 50 employee opportunity or a 5,000 employee opportunity out there, we need to understand what the makeup of the organization looks from a company structure or an EIN perspective there. Building upon that, some other key information for us to know is really when we dive into certain segments of Workforce Go HCM, some areas we need to keep in mind that are going to go into how we build and configure the pricing aligned with these organizations and the solution we're providing itself. For Workforce Go HCM payroll, we need to understand, again, because we offer both sides of the management offering around payroll, whether or not we're talking about a full service payroll client or an in-house payroll management client aligned with that. And again, just a differentiator between those two services is full service means that the Workforce Go team is actually providing the service to the organization of printing and distributing their checks, managing all of their direct deposits and distribution, as well as their tax management services. And the in-house model being that they themselves as an organization are managing their payroll as well as the printing and distributing of their checks, their direct deposit issuing and distribution, as well as Workforce Go is still providing the tax management services to them. Now, we've seen this come up a lot as of recently, so I do want to note it as a specific item you need to discuss around payroll with every organization. If they are providing contracts or working with federal government contracts or any form or fashion have to be required around certified payroll. We do support certified payroll with Workforce Go HCM, but that is something we need to note because there is specific pricing around that as well. And then building upon that for the tax management services and pricing there, we need to know the number of state jurisdictions as well as the number of local or municipality jurisdictions that we've got. And that's not based on where who we file with for that. That is the actual number of jurisdictions that they are managing tax withholdings within. From a Workforce Go HCM time perspective, just noting for you on this, not a lot to know around the requirements, and we talked a lot about the needs, requirements, and discovery of positioning Workforce Go HCM time and labor management. But if they are talking anything around requirements for leave management or scheduling it, what we call scheduler, which is advanced scheduler, those components require that you have Workforce Go HCM time. So they cannot be quoted as standalone within there. And also building upon that, when we look at Workforce Go HCM people, more the human resources side of the actual suite that we have there. Again, not going deep into the requirements for that, but just letting you know that in order to have these additional components of benefits enrollment, carrier communication, Affordable Care Act monitoring and reporting, performance management, compensation management, position management, and recruiting and applicant tracking, you do have to have the core Workforce Go HCM people in order to do that. So there is some dependency regarding those modules within there. So these are key information for us to understand when we're positioning the pricing around Workforce Go HCM. And what I do not want to get lost before we get into the actual pricing information itself and kind of overview of the pricing structures and order forms and how we work with that information is that we do have additional items within there that always need to be kept top of mind. So around payroll typically and other services that we offer, we do have what we call additional monthly and additional annual fees. These are options or additional items available to organizations out there. And those can include vendor payments, which are us here at Workforce Go actually issuing vendor payments as part of payroll there. You can do Social Security verification as well as E-Verify within the actual solution itself. And if there's any additional tax services, so as they grow, they add a state, they add a local, they add a municipality, any of those have additional fees that come along with them. And of course, all of the year-end activities. When we think about year-end filings, W-2s, 1095Cs, those are what we call year-end tax services. So those are not included in the traditional subscription per employee per month subscriptions that we're going to be reviewing today. These are additional monthly and annual fees aligned with that. Now, we do also offer some optional solutions and services, and we'll be diving into these as we go into more of the solution overview process, so you're fully armed with this information. But just wanted to let you know these are on your price schedule should an organization need to leverage these. Around the work opportunity tax credit, we do fully support WOTC. If an organization is looking for a 401k provider, we do have a partnership with Voya as well and can offer a very nice 401k program that is significantly at a great cost benefit to organizations of what they see with other providers. We do offer HSA, apologize for the spelling grammar there, HSA, FSA, and COBRA administration programs as well. We offer full HR management services. So if we're working with smaller organizations that are looking for more of an outsourced HR department and compliance, we do offer those HR services as well. And just basically other items that organizations may need around labor law posters and updates that they need to stay in compliance with, or even background screening services. These are additional optional solutions and services that we do offer. And then finally, because we'll be talking about it in our price schedules today as well, we do have hardware options available through Workforce Go as well. These are mainly around time and labor management, of how additional options of how we gather that time and labor management, whether those are our AccuTime clocks, whether those are our ZKT4 clocks, or even our Kronos InTouch clocks. Depending on their requirements of them being keypad, proximity, or magstripe cards, or biometric options as far as how they use those hardware devices to collect time, we do offer all of those options there. So building upon, again, we talked in our last training session about the Workforce Go lifecycle document and how we utilize that document as a guideline of gathering the discovery and needs requirement information for an opportunity that we engage with. And we are going to require that that document and information be submitted to Workforce Go along with any orders that are submitted from you as a partner. So building into that document, what we want to talk about today is actually the Workforce Go HCM partner pricing, as well as the Workforce Go HCM order form that is completed and how all of that is positioned for your opportunities there. So what I'm going to do for us is I'm actually going to switch over to a copy of our Workforce Go HCM order form within here. Now, again, this will be part of your Workforce Go lifecycle document. It will be tabs within there, so you'll always have this information accessible to you. Now, a couple of things that we do publish very nicely in here for you. First is we publish a full price list right within here for you. So you can see by module, by component, by service, and option within there, the various pricing by employee tier. So just to explain this and using payroll as an example there, you'll see that we do have the per employee per month subscription defined at those employee tiers, 25, 50, 75, 100. That does not mean that they have to license or subscribe to, Workforce Go HCM at that specific tier. It's a guideline of what tier they fall into. So we'll use the 100 employee tier as an example. If you're working with an organization that has 95 employees, they are greater than 75, so you would use the 100 employee tier pricing of $2.89 per employee per month for the 95 employees that they have aligned with that. So this just does break out those tiers for you all the way up to 5,000 within there. And it gives you a breakdown of all the different modules, payroll, additional items, additional annual fees, time and labor management, scheduler, people, and you'll notice everything is color-coded in here for the dependencies upon the other solutions that are in there. So as we talked about, you cannot have benefits enrollment without having people, performance management, compensation management, recruiting, as well as these additional options and services. So you will see in here, if you do run into those workforce opportunity tax credits, 401k, outsource HR services, HSA, FSA, or labor law compliance, a lot of that is something we want you to engage with us here at Workforce Go because there's some specific positioning and pricing on a client-by-client basis. Of course, our background screening and other information in here, but a full detailed price list at all the tiers available to you. Now, we wanted to build upon that price tier, not asking you to go in and just pull information out of there and populate it into your own documents. So we have created for all of our partners a very nice order form, which is very interactive for you out here as well, that as you're engaging with opportunities to put your pricing together, understanding both your cost and what you want your margins and retail to be, this order form calculates all that information for you. So we're just going to go through and kind of complete this order form together in each section so you can kind of see how the information is populated within here. First and foremost, we need to define the number of entities that the organization has. Again, key information for us to understand as part of pricing is the number of federal identification numbers, federal employer identification numbers that the organization has, as well as their total number of employees. And we'll just put that at 100 for this example here. Now, this order summary information right here, this will automatically populate for you, again, giving you a good perspective into what you want your retail customer pricing to be and what your partner cost for the Workforce Go HCM solution will be. And you'll also see in here, we do allow you to define your own margins that you would like to earn on these opportunities. So you can play with those and determine based on your negotiations and discussions with them what you want your margins to be, whether you want those to be 40 or 50% or even higher aligned within there. Then moving into the sections down below that, we now start configuring what is the solution we are proposing for this organization. So are we doing in-house payroll or full service payroll? Just populating that, and you'll see it'll automatically populate that employee count in there for you, give you your partner per employee per month subscription, what the recommended retail is based on your margins you would like to enter in there, and then breaking that into a monthly and an annual view aligned with that as well. So if we were going to include time and labor management into that, we were going to include leave management. It's just a matter of coming in here and actually configuring what components of the solution are included in what we're proposing to this organization. Of course, do not mistype like I did there. So as we go down, you'll notice it again, it populates all the information from those areas and allows for you to put that within there. Now, there are other areas that are not populated based on the actual employee count within there. So you can come in here for recruiting as an example. This is based on number of job postings that they're managing on a monthly basis. So we can put their average number of job postings that they have within there. Then we need to go down and fill out our additional services subscription in here as well, number of states they may have, number of locals that they may have, again, populating all that information. Would they like those labor law posters? And then you'll see from there the remainder of the information is again populated for you. So this is going to calculate what the implementation fees from WFGO to you as a partner are. It will then allow you, if you are doing any carrier communication in here, to put the number of carriers within there as well. And if you are purchasing any hardware, if we had populated that, it will allow us to purchase the hardware implementation fees in there. Now you will see those additional monthly items. These are more on a per instance basis in here. So we do list those out so we know what those additional fees are, and then allowing you to sign off on that. But again, populating that information within here comes back up and actually populates what the WFGO amounts are aligned within there. And of course, what your retail amounts will be in there based on the margins that you would like to have aligned with this information here. Now, one thing that I do want to note for you on this order form aligned with that is as we're building the solution, and as we talked a little bit last time in our discussions, not every module is required to be at the same license level within the solution. So we can see here everything is populating based on that 100 employees. I may not, as an organization, have all 100 employees submitting time-related information to us. Maybe half of my workforce is hourly individuals and I only want to manage them. So you will be able to come in and edit the employee count amount aligned within there so that it will calculate based off of that tier for that employee count within there. So it's not 100 employees, it may be 50 for time and labor, it may just be 50 for HR. And what the dependencies of those components are right within there. So this form will help you not only submit your orders to WFGO, but this will help you actually calculate what your retail is aligned within there. And we do have some sample quotes, some sample documents if you're looking for how to put a quote page together, how to put a scope of implementation together, or what is actually scoped in an implementation as far as the services delivered. We do have some of that additional documentation available to you there as well. So I did have a question on an example of vendor payments in there. So that's a great question. So we actually don't quote vendor payments within here. Vendor payments are part of our full service payroll offering only, and it allows us to utilize things like garnishment payments. If you're withholding any 401k and you need to remit your 401k withholding to the 401k provider, those are what we consider vendor payments right within there. They're a per instance vendor payment is what they are. So every time we have to issue one of those, you'll see it's $225 per payment that we have to issue aligned with that. So that's how vendor payments are typically quoted. We don't price those out as part of the quote because they're a per instance fee aligned with that. So these fees within here, the next question on there was, are all these fees either reseller or retail? We actually detail both of those in there for you, just again to provide full clarification on that. When building out, and I apologize for the scrolling, let me scroll back down. When building it out, we will give you what your partner, your reseller fee is. We will also give you what your recommended wholesale or retail pricing is. And that retail pricing, again, is based on what type of margin you want to earn off of this opportunity. So if you want a 40% margin, you could even mark that up to 50%, and you'll see it recalculates that retail fee for you. So you get to define what your retail pricing is on there. We're giving you what your partner fees are and letting you define your margins aligned with with that. And apologize, Vince, I do see you answered your own question there, but just for some more clarification on that. So this is our new partner alliance order form. We will be distributing this. Again, as we have always talked about, if there is any feedback, any changes, anything that would make things easier for you as a partner to build this information, to understand the components within there, or specific questions that you have, please let us know at any point in time, and we're more than happy to help with that. Now, the last thing I want to touch base on very quickly before we open up for any other general questions that we have is if you are ordering hardware from Workforce Go, you will see a specific hardware order form that is built into here as well. So we have separated hardware from the actual subscription order form because hardware gets a little bit more specific within here. So all of our different clock options are listed out within here. If you have questions about what those clocks are, the values or the details behind each clocks, let us know. We have great brochures that detail all of the components and features of each one of these clocks. But here you'll see all of our AccuTime system clocks, whether those are just regular mag stripe, whether those are HID readers, biometrics, or a combination of all of those. You'll see our ZKT4 clock. That is our entry-level clock, but it is a biometric clock as well. And then our advanced clocks, which are our InTouch Chronos clocks. These are pretty much mini computers that they have as clockware devices. You can do anything from these devices that you can do from a mobile device as well, and our different options available for those. So we can select which clocks we want to have aligned within there. If we want to have those, of course, the number of clocks that we're ordering, and it will populate the same information, giving you what your partner cost is, what your recommended retail is, and a total based on the quantity. And you do get to put in your markup as far as your margin is concerned on clock devices. But with clock devices, we do want to note for you, we do calculate the shipping in here automatically for you. And it is important to note that we do need payment for the hardware devices that are being ordered before the orders are actually placed with those. So with any hardware order you submit to Workforce Go, we will need to have payment for that order before we can actually order those hardware devices. Majority of these devices that you see within here, with the exception of the ZKT4, are on-demand special order clocks, meaning they're built based on the order that we submit aligned with them. Okay. Perfect. So we got about 5 minutes left in our scheduled time. Wanted to quickly go over that information there and open it up for any questions that we may have. We will distribute this order form. If you find any features, anything we can do better, anything that is not calculating correctly, please let us know. We are human. Sometimes we do make some minor calculation errors within there, but please let us know. But these orders are what is needed to be submitted, as well as used as calculating the pricing for the Workforce Go HCM solution. Okay, so I'm going to open it up for any questions that we may have today regarding the pricing, the structure, how we do that.
No question per se on the structure. Recently, I've had a couple of prospects wanting time and attendance with access control, and as well as potentially RFID. Now, I haven't done a deeper dive to find out. Typically, when I think RFID, I'm thinking inventory solutions or tools moving through the shop. But apparently, people have read something somewhere that they can use RFID to track an employee's time in a particular area. I haven't heard that yet. I don't know how that applies, but I just thought I'd toss it out there.
I haven't heard it as far as, well, let me answer that question in